Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Crafty Crow Show. As you can see, we are in the workshop and progress is being made. It's all reclaimed wood of all this overhead that planed down with my hand planer, and that was actually fun, getting to learn how to use that planer a little bit better. Got it all hung up on the back wall, probably where my French cleat system's going to go. So, moving right along, plus the workbench, I've done some additions you might see in the video. But anyway, we're off the work build. Video that I've been promising to give for a while. The votes are in, the tallies are up. It's time for the winner of the restoration video. So, I know you put your votes in. I know you've been waiting and I've been putting it off because there's been other things to do. But today is the day. So, guess which one won? Do you know? Have any clue which one won? I've got it sitting right here. Without further ado, drum roll please. We have the fire extinguisher. Shouldn't have come as no surprise to me because I used to be a volunteer firefighter, was in that for a long time in addition to EMS. And I've got a whole bunch of firefighter friends. Even some of y'all commented that I don't personally know and voted for the fire extinguisher on Facebook and things. So it's going to be the fire extinguisher comes first. So what we'll do today, we'll get this broke down. I've been researching some on how to do it because it's copper and brass. I mean, I can't be too harsh on it. I'll scratch it all to pieces. But we'll get the camera up where you can see better. We'll get to breaking this down. And I think I've got something to get the paint off. So we'll get it broke down and shined up, and I'm real curious to see what's inside. So we'll get to see what's inside. So stick with us. Thanks for stopping by. Let's get to a restoration video. This is the fire extinguisher. Okay, everyone. Here's the fire extinguisher. Mom had a thought of where she knew it might have come from. There was a man named Scarborough, was his last name, that lived in Cold Iron. Any of you local people might know, especially the older ones. He had a gas station or something, and some of the stuff, including this, Mom was thinking that they might have come from his old gas station that he had gave to Papaw. So, could be some Harlan County history, not just something that Papaw picked up. So, I've been trying to look, and there's so much peeled off, I can't tell. It says Commander on it. W.D. Allen Manufacturing Company, Chicago, Illinois. So, that must be the maker and stuff on it. And we'll get to see this, because these plates are supposed to be brass. And they may not be, this may be one of the older ones from the 50s or something, I don't know. But we're going to disassemble this thing. This is what's called a soda ash fire extinguisher. Hopefully the internal parts are in here and I'll explain to you how these things work. But the first thing we have to do, something I've never done yet, is get this top off. And as I figured, it's not going to be that easy to do. So let's get a little bit of leverage to help us. I don't even know if the leverage is going to help us. Okay, time to get off the seat. Get serious with it here. It's going a little quicker. While we're doing this, guys, I hope that the lighting and stuff, it's been fun trying to refigure out lighting and things in this building when the lighting's not good. And I don't have the money to get any lights in here yet. So if the image quality is kind of, just bear with me. We're working on it. All right. Got the top off. And it's nothing but a deep dark hole in there. We're going in if anything gets me. If you ever see this, call somebody. Now I just lied because we ain't going in because my daggone hand's too fat. Oh. Well, that's full of something, ain't it? Daggone it on my new bench. I'll tell you what. Let me get this cleaned up before we go any farther. See if we can get this. And I think it's time to take this thing outside already because I didn't know it had liquid in it. There is a cage down in there. What it was, there was a little cage that sits under this that has a stopper on it and a little cage with a glass jar. And it would have, I think it was sulfuric acid. Maybe not sulfuric acid. It's some sort of acid. It's totally left my mind right now. But it would sit in there, and then you would fill that with water and baking soda. When you went to use it, it would hang like you're seeing now. But when you went to use it, you would flip it upside down. There's a handle kind of under here built into it. And this, the reason this top is made the way it is, this sets down as a base that would let the stopper come out, let the acid mix with the baking soda, because it's sodium bicarb. And that would create the propellant for the water and then push it out the hose here. And as long as it was upside down, it would spray until it was empty. So there is parts in there I can see, but like I said, I'm gonna have to take this thing out because I didn't know it had stuff in it. So let me try to clean up my mess. Let me try to get in here and not get the camera equipment all dirty. And we'll get outside where we can kind of get this cleaned out and me get the stuff out of it, and then I'll show it to you, and then we'll start stripping paint. Stick with me, be right back. Okay, everyone, I know I said that I was going out to do that, but got it outside and started getting it cleaned out, and oh, I'm so excited. It's got all the pieces it needs to make it working again. So what you have, I'm just going to show you right quick before we go out and get the paint stripped. What you have, this cage sits down inside under that screw-on lid. So it sits in just like that. Now this bottle goes in that and gets held in place. I guess probably you put the bottle in first, I don't know. Yeah. Put the bottle in with the acid and it sits in place. And then you have this, it's lead from the best of my research. These are lead and it's fairly heavy. And that stopper just sits in the top. So you've got your acid in there. And it might be muriatic acid, it might not be sulfuric, I don't remember. But you've got the whole container full of stuff. You sit this down in there and it just sits there. Now, when you turn the fire extinguisher upside down to activate it, it turns over, that stopper falls out, and all that acid flows into that basically sodium bicarb mix with the water and baking soda, creates the accelerant because it's CO2 that expands and pushes it out the nozzle. And that's what gets the fire extinguisher, that's where it gets its pressure and propellant. So before we took you out to do the stripping of the paint, I was super excited when I got that, all that black goo, and apparently it wasn't acid because my hands ain't it off. You can see, I've still got all 10 fingers. But wanted to come in and kind of show you how that worked, and super excited because all the parts are in here. I reckon even the glass bottles are usually the worst part because they'll get broke or it'll be missing the stopper. So we have all pieces to make this work. I still don't know. I'm missing the gasket on the top. I still don't know if we're going to be able to get it operational, but all the pieces are here to where we might be able to. All right, outside to get the stripper going. Okay, so got it set up here on the bed of the truck because I ain't doing this on my new work vehicle. Got some Dad's Easy Spray. Well, Dad, it works. or I start shaking a bottle, my mind goes blank. So we're going to strip all this off as best we can. This is, I mean, it's still a chemical, but it's water cleanup on it. It's one reason I got it. I got it for strippers to paint off some wood and stuff in the house when we moved in. The whole kitchen window was got wood trim around it, and I thought it'd be really pretty, wanted to save it. So stripped off paint stuff off that and kind of brightened it all back up. And I had some left over, should have enough to do this. Now I've tried a little while ago to take the hose off. That ain't happening. I'm afraid if I put too much pressure on this, and we may be able to get it off later, but I think I can get most of it cleaned up without it. Too much pressure on this though is going to break that off, and we've kind of killed ourselves for the whole maybe getting it to work. The thing that makes me worried about getting this, I think it's I think it was 125 psi is actually what that puts out. It puts out pretty good psi to speed chemical reaction. I mean, it surprised me. So that's what's got me iffy, and I don't know how to pressure test this. Now the lid, I don't know if this is solid brass or what, but I'm not going to have to strip this. I can actually strip this off with brushes and stuff and be a little bit more aggressive on this. But there's a seal that goes right there, and this seal is, I mean, it's totally gone, but it seals up against the top, and that's what keeps anything from leaking out. So we'd have to find a new seal for that at least, and I'm sure you could probably get it on the internet, but for now, we're going to make this thing at least look pretty. But don't have to strip that. If I've got enough extra, I might put on there. This old inspection tag just disintegrated from the water. But let's see if we can make this thing back to its former glory. So shook this up. I think set this on for about 15 minutes. No, 5 to 10 minutes. It's kind of a gel, sprays on there good, and we're back outside. Go ahead and try to look over the sound of the wind, and my neighbor, somebody's up on the hill with a backhoe right now. I mean, you've watched me enough, you know how my hill is. So should be, all we have to do is just spray this on good and thick. Hopefully this will absolutely make our life way easier. While I do this, while I'm thinking of it, guys, if you're not subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel and helps us grow, especially if you're liking the content. There's going to be plenty more restorations. You know, we're working on the workshop. I've got separate videos and playlists for that. There should be some camping coming up pretty soon, some wintertime camping. Not been for a little while, and for some reason it's just been real hectic for everybody here lately. Me and Jason from over at Man's Adventures, we usually do our camping together, and he's been hectic. He's been on vacation. He's still trying to catch up on his vacation videos and get them out for you. Go check out his channel. Actually, he's got some really good content, and he's got a lot more than I do, especially if you like travel and stuff. He'd be a really good channel for you to watch. He's got some food reviews and, like I say, camping videos and things. We like doing that together. We work together at work, and me and him's got a lot of the same ideals and taste on things. So I'm just gonna spray it all over, man. If this hose goes bad, it goes bad, right? And it's already, you can see it eating that stuff off. Or I can, I don't know if you can, but especially here on the front, you can see it's all getting flaked up. So this Dad's Easy Spray. I got it at our local hardware store. It's a Do It Best. It's called Southern Wholesaling. If you live here in Harlan, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not totally sure that this is copper from what little bit I can see. We'll have to wait till we get it stripped off and find out. I mean, they done like an aluminum or something, I think, later on. Kind of gonna be disappointed if it is, because I want that that copper. But anyway, it goes. We're gonna shine it up and make it look pretty. So that ought to be venti enough of that. And there we go. Yes, I did cheat. Yes, I used a brass wire brush on my drill because I ran out of the paint stripper and there was still not a lot, but some on there. Now what I ended up doing, because it was brass, it's not going to scratch as bad as like stainless steel or anything. So the next step is going to be the longest step. We have to take this thing and get some brass on it. You know, the guys, that's the only way I could think of to really get all the scuff marks out, shine it good, and make it look like it needs to. So, I've looked at some of the seams on this. I don't really feel comfortable trying to pressurize this thing. It actually said on the thing it gets up to 350 psi. So if that pops off, it's going to hurt, and it's probably not going to be too safe. So some of the solder lines and stuff looks like they're there. Looks like they're missing. I mean, you can't see them out there, and it might be all right. I don't know, but we've got all the parts. If someday we get brave, we'll try it. But for the time being, I don't think we're going to put it back in operation. But we are going to make it look good. We're going to have a good showpiece with it. And you know, there's a bunch of other things we can do with it. One suggestion I had, my friend David had said make a lamp out of it. And a lamp's an awesome idea. If I was going to put this in the house, that's exactly probably what I'd do with it, just because I had seen that before. You just put the wire in there, drill a hole in the cap up here, and bring a lamp shade up and make a lamp. And I have seen some pictures of them. I looked at that after he said that, and it was real pretty. So, but luckily, it's all copper. I ain't gonna lie, I'd have been disappointed if it had been stainless or aluminum or something like that. We would have still done it, but man, it's not as pretty copper. So, if you've not already, while we've got this little bit of a break in this, subscribe if you've not already. Like and comment, share your comments with me. I've really been liking the comments y'all have been giving on things. And I know I was put off a little bit for this, but tell me what you're thinking about the way this is shaping up. Now it's, like I said, brass on these tags. I'm going to try to look up, because these are not supposed to just be, there's some background paint, and some of these make them stand out a little bit better. So I'll try to research and see on that. But today, which is starting to get a little bit late, but, oh, that reminds me of another thing. I was getting ready to say Pocahontas is going to be cooking supper pretty soon, but Pocahontas is finally not Pocahontas anymore. We can call her by her real name, and this is her real name. We're not playing play names anymore. Kathy is her real name. So now I don't have to try to keep remembering to call her Pocahontas every time. So Kathy be cooking supper soon, and I know she'll be wanting me in and kind of hang out with her, because I've been at work for 2 days, and it's time to go hang out with the woman, right? I can't stay out here all the time. But we're going to start the long, tedious process. It's been forever since I used brass on anything of trying to shine this thing up. So I'll bring you down. We'll do a little bit of talking while I'm doing this. Probably do some time lapse with it, so you don't take forever. And I'm sure I'll do a bunch of it off camera, because it'll be a 3-hour video if I don't. See what we can get done this evening. So we'll do this, and I'll let you know. You'll see how far we get done. So let's set the camera up a little bit better angle again, and we'll get to scrubbing. Okay, everyone. It's turned into the next day, which is fine. Went away from the Brasso because good grief, that's a lot to Brasso. I actually forgot I had some steel wool over here. So I tried it in section and it was working way better than the Brasso. So steel wool across the whole thing. I've got enough steel wool dust kicked up that it's got me sniffling and snorting. But the body is done. There's still some little black places, and I decided I'm going to leave that. I don't want this thing, I don't want it to look brand new. I want it to have a little bit of wear and stuff and show to it. So that just kind of gives it some character to me. But double aught steel wool, that's what I used. Then I used quadruple to kind of shine it up, and I will go over it again. But next thing on the list is all this lettering. These come originally with paint in the background in certain sections. I've looked at different pictures. There was different colors or something other, but it helped it stand out because right now you couldn't really read it too good. It's got the filling directions and this, that, and the other on it. So what we're going to do is mask all this off and paint it with a paintbrush. The different colors. I've got two. I've got red and black, which is a lot of what I've seen. That's what it was. And we're going to paint these, and then after we're done, the paint's dried, everything is done, I'm going to spray lacquer over it because I'm not going to do this every year. You know, it's going to sit out here in this building. It's usually kind of damp out in the building. We ain't doing this over and over. So spray lacquer on it, that'll protect it. From this point on, I'm going to have gloves on because any of your oils from your skin will set on this copper and it will cause it to start tarnishing again. So I'm going to try my best to keep it off, which I'm going to go over the whole thing one more time before we lacquer it, but just try to help prevent anything from popping back up on it. So, next step. All right, there we go. Got a couple of little places here on the red to touch up, but this is oil-based paint. So this is going to take a lot longer to dry than a latex would, but the good thing about the oil base, it kind of flows a little bit better. It fills in on your brush strokes and things, so make it look a whole lot better. I know I've probably said this yesterday, but if y'all like the content, please consider subscribing. Leave a like. If you want to sit complain about what I'm doing, comment that too. I ain't gonna get mad at you, and we're all entitled to our opinions. What I researched, I couldn't really get a good view of how these tags were. You know, this is back in the day before plastics and decals and stuff, and this is what the guys had to do. So I know some people will do them with just the brass and have the brass shining. And that's, I mean, they're really pretty that way, don't get me wrong. But my thinking on this was, when these things were manufactured, and I've seen some pictures of other ones, when they were manufactured, you know, they was doing the best they could. Like I said, they didn't have stickers or decals or anything. And you had to make these letters stand out because You know, in a real emergency, if you needed to use this thing for what it was intended for, you didn't want something that you had to sit and try hard to read. So I've got, I guess, kind of my own thing. I don't know how this thing would have actually come painted. This is just from researching some of the other pictures that I've seen and kind of what some other people's done with restoring theirs. But basically, I've got the Underwriter Laboratory name in black, the name of the extinguisher, the commander, and then the manufacturer. I've got the size of the fire extinguisher. Then in red, you know, I wanted the name in red, and then for fire, turn bottom up. So that's kind of an instruction on how to get this thing going. That's all you had to do to get them going. Once you had everything prepped, turn it upside down and it starts spraying. So that needed to stand out more than anything. So I've done that in red because it would, you know, the attention's drawn to the name and to that specific instruction. And then all this down here, something on this bottom was insurance requirements, but this one right above it in the black is directions for use, and it tells you how to fill it and what to do. So, but the most important one to stand out was the name, because I'm sure the company wanted their name standing out more than anything, and the instructions on how to even get the thing to work. Because if you've got a fire going, then you don't need to be screwing around. I think it's about all the touch-up I need to do on it. So, because this is a oil paint, it's going to take forever to dry. But we're going to set it up out here. Let this dry good. Now the next step we're going to do is probably sandpaper, real light grit sandpaper. We're going to real smoothly go over all these letters, and what that'll do, it'll take all this paint off of them, make that brass really pop out on it and stand out. So you'll be able to see all the letters and have that background, which makes them stand out and pop even more, which is what the original intent was on this. So let's hang out, let's sit around. I guess we'll sit and watch paint dry. That's what we're going to do now. But when we get to the sanding the letters off, I'll bring you back. We'll take a look at that. We're almost done with it, because I think that's the only coats of paint I want to have to do. It's oil paint's kind of a headache to clean up and stuff, and wait on drying and everything. But man, does it do good for painting stuff like this. But we'll get it all, the letters to pop out, get that took care of, then the whole thing will be done. Then we're going to spray it with the lacquer, seal it up good, and we'll be finished with it. So almost done with me, guys. I know this thing's probably went way too long. I know I've got a lot of content, so I don't know how it's going to turn out in editing. This is my first restoration video. We're all learning with it though, right? I want to bring you along for this. So right back again pretty soon, and we're about done. Stick with me. Next parts are coming. After a few days of letting this paint dry, this is what we've got. So now the next step, like I said earlier, is some fine grit sandpaper. This is, hold on, let me check, guys. I've already forgot, 600 grit, and that might still be a little bit too high, I don't know. But all these letters are raised. There's a couple of them that was dented in a little bit, right here on the N and D on the commander. But I think I got a little trick to get them without taking it off. So we're going to try to leave all the background color and bring out all of this. So let's see how this works. I did do a little research on this while I was at work yesterday. This company apparently is still around. The W.D. Allen, which is just Allen. I think it's just Allen now or something. I can't remember. But the company started in 1908, and they were for manufacture of fire equipment, and they're still around. They still like do custom fire trucks, fire extinguishers, any kind of equipment, hoses, anything the fire department needs. So I thought that was pretty cool that the company that made this actually still exists. there we go. Okay, it actually, you know, it's hard because there's little dents and stuff in here that you probably can't see on camera. There was a big one right here. Ended up with sandpaper, ended with screwdriver, whatever I could find to get this thing cleaned up. But it gave kind of more of an antique look to it. Actually, it turned out better than what I thought. But you can read here, there's the Underwriter Laboratory sticker, the name of the extinguisher, the Commander, W.D. Allen Manufacturing Company, Chicago, Illinois. Tested 350 pounds, 2.5 gallons. Then the instructions for the fire, and then here's all the charging instructions and insurance requirements. And to tell you the truth, I ain't even read that yet, but all of it stands out now. It pops. You could read that even from a distance, especially this. So I like it. Okay, next step. I want to try, I had some penetrating oil sitting on this. I want to try one more time to get that off. And now I got to figure out a way to kind of get that to bend out just a little bit. We'll take it, hang it up outside, and get some clear lacquer on it. So close. All right, let's get on that. Okay, so I'm not too happy about it, but it's pretty breezy outside, so I decided to hang it in here. Got the doors open, got the ventilation going. If it gets too much, I'll step outside, but you know, as these things drag, don't sit here and inhale fumes. It's bad for you kids. So let's try to get this thing cleared. Well, 2 coats. Put 2 coats, but reason being, I found a slight little problem. Like I said, I'm always about trying to show my mistakes, to document my mistakes, and to give you all kind of a heads up so maybe you won't make the same mistake. It's better me screw up than you, right? Spray lacquer does not like oil paint. And there might be some of you out there saying, duh, but I didn't know that, but I do now. It's kind of bubbled up the paint some, not totally all the way across. It almost gives it kind of that old metal hammered look or something, where it's just textured. So I'm only doing 2 coats. I ain't pushing my luck no more with that, and let's cross our fingers and say a little prayer that that paint don't come off. If it will stay like it is right now, I'm pretty happy with it still. It kind of add a little more character, gave, like I said, that texture. But if I hadn't paid attention to it, I would have probably stripped every bit of that paint off. We'd have to restart with that. So, painted, I see maybe 1 run right here. You know, well, I'm all right at painting with spray paint, but when it's clear, you can't tell what you hit and what you didn't. Other than that, it looks pretty good. So we're going to leave it hanging here. It says on the instructions, 20 minutes to be able to touch, I think a half hour or so to be able to handle. So it won't take too long, especially with 2 coats and this breeze blowing through here. That we'll be able to get it back down on the table. Might sit a little bit longer, and we'll just see what happens. Yeah, I just kind of want to give you an update and let you know. Lacquer, and you know, maybe I should have got a clear coat. I think they had both. I didn't know the difference. I guess I know the difference now. Lacquer does not like oil paint, so anything that you want to paint that's metal and you try to spray that on it, just beware. So anyway, well, what are we going to do, right? Yeah, it looks good. I'll have to get it in the light where I can see a little bit better, the light facing it, but just want to give that update to you. Just let it dry, we'll get it back on the bench. Done. So, all that's left now is put the parts back in it, put the top on it. We'll do a couple of shots for you with this, but I'm gonna put everything back in it. So here we've got the bottle assembly with the lid. It just sits down in there. We'll make sure it don't flop down in there. There we go. There's a couple of lips on the inside of this that holds that in, so that's good. We'll take the cap. I painted the cap. I left the stand with the brass, but I painted the rest of it red. I don't think, like I said earlier, I don't think this is how the company painted it, but it's mine now, so. There we go. And there we have it. A few days of work, some elbow grease in it, and I think it looks good. I really do like it. I'm really glad you all voted. Like I said, all those projects were going to be done, and they're going to get done, and you'll get to see all of them. But I wanted you all to have some interaction vote on the first one. So this has been the fire extinguisher. I always wanted one of these, I really did, and I really had hoped this was copper. Like I said, you know, it just worked out that it was, but I'm gonna be real happy with it. I'm still trying to design the back wall, but this is gonna be one of those display pieces like some of the stuff we do that's gonna be in the background, hopefully. I'm trying to get this place set up to kind of look a little better for you and a little bit better video and everything. So it turned out, you know, you can see real good all the lettering and stuff. You can see that a lot of the paint kind of bubbled up in some places, but I think we're good with it. And as long as it stays like that, it kind of gives it a little more antique look. You know, we didn't shine this thing up super shiny or anything, so it kind of retains that antique look to it, but it's still got that good shine from the copper with some of those red and black highlights on it that really make it stand out. So we're really happy with it. So now we'll move on to the next project. This one was fun. It was kind of relaxing to get out here. I was happy to use the workbench for the first time for something, some kind of project to do with you. So really, guys, I thank you for the votes. I thank you for the interaction with it. Comment and let me know what you think about how it turned out. Do you like it, not like it? You know, it's there to where if we ever want to do a pressure test on it and stuff, we can maybe make it functional. But it's going to be a gorgeous piece to put in here to show off to people. So I really do thank y'all for stopping by and coming by to visit the channel. Everything to do for the channel. You know, all your subscriptions help out tremendously. Your likes and your shares and stuff help spread, all that helps spread word of the channel and helps us grow. So comments or anything is always welcome. Any kind of constructive criticism is welcome too. But thanks for hanging on to what I'm sure is a very long video at this point. I hope y'all enjoyed the thing. I'll try to do a little bit better on my restoring next time. But until then, thanks for stopping by. Remember, love one another as the good Lord tells you to do. And we'll see you guys on the next video.